about what your long-term goals are with Weird Music and how you want to create a culture of dancing and music in different places across the country. So what are a few of the values that have guided you towards trying to create that in a local community where people know each other and there's constantly amazing artists coming around to different places close to people?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. I mean, we all can relate that in life, you know, we're forced to consume a lot of information. We go to school, we're working, we're like stressed out, and like it's not really fully encouraged to be like artistic and creative, and like feeling free and dancing is not something we see everywhere, and it's honestly something super like genuine and important for humans like to experience in their life, and it's something the world needs more of for sure. Like dating back to even like our ancestors, like tribal times, like singing and dancing is so like implicit to the human spirit, and weird music's values are in line with serving that goal of bringing it, you know, to the culture, to the greater culture. And I mean, in line with outdoors culture, what we're talking about is this theme of, you know, tapping into like being our best self, like living our best life. And that definitely includes, you know, singing, dancing, being outdoors, and so music festivals are outdoors too. Like it's all about camping in beautiful natures, and man, I'm just like so grateful to be supporting such an awesome cause here.
Yeah, and from my experience, you guys do have shows multiple times a week around Columbus, and so to someone who wants to go out to some of your shows, where can they find your information?
Yeah, we're on Instagram at weirdmusic.us. We're on Facebook at just, you know, Weird Music and Weird Music Studios. I'm Cam. I'm always posting about the events.
Yeah, and so like bands too, if they want to record in the studio, there's like multiple different places you can do that at a time, right?
Cool, yeah. Bands out there, I mean, you can contact me personally. I'm Cam at weirdmusic.us. Would love to have you out here to come take a tour. If you're like a prospective, maybe like student in college or something, we do internships, like marketing internships. Artists, we're doing this collective arts brewing can sponsorship event where basically we're taking artist submissions and we will put those in to be on can labels for Collective Arts Brewing, who is sponsoring this awesome studio event we're doing. But with that being said, like artists, musicians, prospective marketing interns, whatever it may be, you just want to reach out, you want to start maybe doing music journalism or photography, videography, we'd love to include anyone who shares our values. So don't hesitate to hit us up.
And the internship opportunity also allows you to go to all of these shows multiple times a week and document them as well, right?
Yeah, promote them, bring your friends. The internship opens up doors. I mean, speaking from my experience, it's opened up doors in my life that were so profound I never thought would be possible. But fucking unbelievable. I was an intern for 8 months, and man, best internship I ever had.
Very cool. Well, why don't we go on a tour of the studio and show people what you guys do on a day-to-day basis around Weird Music?
Word? Hell yeah. So this here is where you walk in, you know, filled with beautiful art, beautiful mural. Check out, that's my pet bird up there. Haven't named it yet though. That's his arch nemesis, six-eyed tiger. We've got a lot of fun stuff here. He's teaching me guitar. Right over here. And this is the control room. Joel's in there killing it. You can go in there, you can show everyone around.
It's kind of hard. There we go.
So, Weird Music is mostly focused on evangelizing jam bands, correct?
We just love to share the music we love. And a lot of that happens to be bands that feel free to like improvise. And I mean, you call them jam bands, but it's really, our interests are much more broad than the jam genre, which a lot of acts fall into that, which is cool. But basically Weird Music in all shapes and varieties, jam or not.
Open to anything.
Anything weird, we love you.
Very cool.
Yeah,
because I know I had heard a lot of great jam bands, but I didn't know what the scope of what you're trying to do is, and I I will say the shows that you are planning are pretty much every genre you could think of. You have electronic music, you have indie music, you have folk music. So, it's very cool to see that scope where the genre doesn't necessarily matter as much as the art itself.
Right, exactly. A lot of people like are really only exposed to the same old stuff, and it's really like an echo chamber of Spotify. So, you know, whether it's bluegrass music or electronic dance music or like Jimi Hendrix style rock music, where like showing fans something like different each and every week, and like that's what music festivals do. Most music festivals have like multiple genres, and that's part of what makes it so good. Like discover new art, which is like tapping into new like, and so yeah, that like we're totally about the expansiveness of different genres, and you know all styles of music, you know, as long as it's authentic,
Very
which
cool.
which is like a very common theme in music.
Absolutely. Yeah, speak from the heart.
Yeah. What about natural though? Like, let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
How do you feel like Natural United's values and you know everything you're about, everything your fans are about?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that you know relates to what Weird Music's doing and what Weird Music's into?
Something I've noticed about weird music in particular is that it does create a community of people who are consistently doing something that they really enjoy together. And the two do interplay in the sense that a lot of people who enjoy hiking and enjoy nature also enjoy music. But at the same time, it is cool to me to see the diversity of people that aren't doing both. And so you get both people who like hiking in the outdoors and music, along with people who just like one. And so I think the commonality is very interesting because there is sort of this mentality amongst both where love becomes very important. And I think they're two areas of the world that could definitely benefit the future of humanity if they are adopted by more people. And that's something that I think you, as a community of people, have done a very steadfast job of doing, of trying to make it so that more people are open to create music, open to go to multiple shows a week. And it's honestly so inexpensive to go to your shows that you can manage to go to a few shows a week, whereas the larger touring bands that go to big stadiums, you know, they often cost $50 to $100 per ticket. But to be able to, on a weekday, go experience some amazing live music at a relatively cheap cost is something that I think is very admirable. And that's why I kind of wanted to talk about what you guys are doing and what your mission is, because, you know, while there may be some differences in the people who support both, I think that the end goal of both are relatively similar, and that's sort of peace and bringing everything back to the community and creating beautiful art while doing it.
But like I'm referring to in nature. Like why go to nature? To get out of the city, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But that's another reason why people do music.
Yeah.
So with music though, it's I mean, and people listen to music in nature.
You bring yourself to a different place in listening to music, I see what you mean. So you can find that experience of feeling like you're not where you always are, except it's, you know, a few minute walk down the road. And that's what's amazing about it, is that it does sort of bring you to that very spiritual place that music can bring you to as well.
It's like being in nature takes you to this primal feeling of being connected to earth, of being connected to yourself, and music does the same thing. Emotion is translated through the sounds, through the instruments, and people resonate with that, and you know, that's amazing.
Right, and
that's amazing.
Why you've been able to develop such a dedicated community that does show up to these shows on the weekdays when people might be busy, but they still find a way to make it out, because it is one of those euphoric experiences that once you have it, let's say, that night, the next day when you wake up, things just seem to be a lot more interesting, and you see a lot more beauty in the random nuances of life. So, Cam, it has been wonderful to see the studio. Thank you for showing us around. Is there anything else that you would want the natural audience to know?
Yeah, shit. If you love music, we love you. Hit us up, don't be shy, follow us. Weird Music, we do podcasts with all my favorite musicians, and you know, if you'd like to join the team and maybe be a journalist, interview some of your favorite musicians, or come play in our studio, love to meet you. If you're friends with Patrick, you're friends with me, so hell yeah.